gagawin, aalamin natin yung mga mga relationship nung bawat isang entity dito dun sa isa pang entity. Alamin natin kung meron silang relationship based on the business rule na binasa natin dito kanina. Itong mahabang to. Ano? Alamin natin, may relationship ba si bus at si route? Meron, di ba? A bus can take or one or more bus can take one route, di ba? Sa isang ruta, pwedeng magkaroon ng higit sa isa pang bus. So, meron silang relationship. Ano? Okay. So, at ito yun. Ito yung mga pwede nating ma-determine na relationship based on those entities. So, we have here, a bus is allocated to a route and a route may have several buses. Okay? Sabi dito, yung bus and the route ay merong many-to-one relationship or one-to-many relationship. Pag binaliktad mo, one route can have many buses. Ano? Ayan. Then, nakalagay dito is serviced by. Is serviced by? Parang medyo, ano yung relationship na yun. Okay? Pero sige. Then, a route comprises one or more stages. Okay. So, baka, for example, yung isang ruta ay dinivide nila sa bawat stage. Ano? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Okay? So, yun yung stage. Ano? So, yung route ay merong more than one, can have one or more than one stages. Okay? So, between the route and the stage, so yun ay one to many or many to one. Then we have here, one or more drivers are allocated to each stage. Okay. So, sa driver and sa stage, meron ding relationship. Kasi, syempre, yung driver na maaari mag-drive yung mga driver ng bus na dadaan sa kanong stage, dun sa route na yon, syempre, maraming bus yun, di ba? Syempre, maraming driver yun. So, that is many driver to one stage. So, one or more drivers are allocated to each stage. So, driver stage, many to one relationship, yun. So, pwedeng mag-allocate o magkaroon ng higit sa isang driver sa iisang stage. Sa bawat stage, sa isang route. A stage passes through some or all. Nasa na tayo? Dito tayo. A stage passes through some or all of the towns on a route. Okay. Doon sa isang ruta ng bawat bus, di ba, sabi, ay merong mga stages. Halimbawa, stage 1, 2, 3. Yung ruta mula Buendia hanggang dito sa Lucena. So, yung stage 1 doon ay maaaring mag-pass or ang tawag doon mag-pass, dumaan sa isa o higit pang mga towns dyan sa daan, di ba? Siyempre, for example, dadaan ka ng San Pablo, sa Laguna, ano ba yan? Laguna ba yan? San Pablo, kung ano, nakalimutan ko na yung way dyan sa papuntang Lucena. Dyan sa Quezon, for example, Chaong Quezon, kalimutan ko na yung iba. Yan. Okay? So, yun. So, iba't ibang mga town ang pwedeng daanan ng isang bus sa isang stage. Halimbawa, itong stage 1, merong mga 5 town doon. Yung stage 2, 5 town din yun. Doon sa isang ruta, nadadaanan ng isang bus. Okay? So, stage 2 town, pass through. So, that is one to many. Bakit MN yun? A stage passes through some or all of the towns on a route. Okay, balikan natin siya mamaya. Naguluhan ako nun. The next one, we have a route passes through some or all of the towns. Siyempre, yung isang ruta, maaring dumaan siya sa ilan or sa lahat ng mga towns na dinaanan niya dun sa way dun sa isang location, di ba? Then we have the some of the towns have a garage. So, uh, yung ilan sa mga town na maaaring daanan dun sa isang ruta ng isang bus ay maaaring mayroong garage, ano, na nakasituate doon. So, yung garage and town relationship is one to many and ang kanilang relationship ay is situated. Ano? Then, we have a garage keeps buses and each bus has one home or garage. So, ang garage at saka yung bus ang pinag-uusapan dito. Kung sa isang garage ay pwede magkaroon ng more than one or many buses na uh, nakagarahe yung mga bus doon, no? So, yun. So, yun, yung mga relationship, ano? Medyo masalimut lang yung iba, pero kailangan natin silang intindihin based on the business rules that na nakuha natin from the organization. So, after ma-identify yung mga relationship na yun, kahit medyo magulo-gulo, ano, syempre, hindi lang yung relationship ang in-identify, yung ano din, yung number of instances in a particular entity. Ano, kung yun ay many to many, one to many, or one to one. Ano? So, lastly, we need to look for given attributes of an entity. Kung meron. Ano? So, sabi diyan, bus, yung mga entity na na-determine natin, we have the bus, meron siyang registration number, number of passengers, and size. We have the route number, and average number of passengers. The driver, meron siyang employee number, name, address, and telephone number. So, yun lang naman yung naka-specify dun sa ating tawag dito, business rules. So, yun lang kailangan nating i-identify. No? Then, kapag na-identify na natin yung mga yun, the next one is that we have to draw the diagram. At ito na siya. Okay. Saan tayo pwede magsimula? Bakit naputol yun ay? Ano? Nawala. Medyo magulo to. Ano? Ang gulo, ang salimuot. Mas okay sana kung ang ginamit is cross-foot notation. Ano yung naka-table. Okay. Simula tayo sa saan tayo magsisimula? Bus. Nasaan yung bus? Ito yung bus. Okay? A bus. Ito yung kanyang mga attributes. We have the registration number. Tayo na gumana ng mouse ko. Wait lang ha. Ayaw gumana ng mouse. Okay, ito na siya. So, sa bus, we have the registration number, passenger number, and the size. So, dapat may kadugtong pa dito o nawala na yung line. Okay? Sikip-sikip kasi dito ang lalaki ng ibang attributes. So, a bus, one or more bus is one or more bus is allocated in only one route. Yan. Ito yun. Kaya siya ay one to many or many to one. Nakikita natin. Diba sabi natin kanina, isa o higit pang mga bus ang pwedeng dumaan or naka-situate sa isang route. Ano? Katulad ng biyahe sa Bendia, papuntang Lucena, hindi lang naman iisang jackliner ang babiyahe doon, di ba? Sunod-sunod yun according to the time na meron yung biyahe. At dito yung entities, no, attributes ng route. We have the route number and then the average passenger. Then, after that, the one route has one or more stage, di ba? Yung pinag-usapan natin, yung parang yung isang ruta ay may baka pinaghati-hati nila. Ano? Stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3. Kung ano man ang real example nun sa real world, yung stage na yun. So a stage is allocated by one or bakit kulang yun? A stage is allocated by one or more driver. No? Nasaan yung stage at driver? One or more drivers are allocated to each stage. Okay? So, kulang to ng linya dito. Napunta ata din naligaw. Yun. So, a stage is allocated by one or more number. Napunta din yung guhit ay naligaw. Okay? So, ito yung mga entities ng attributes ng driver. We have the name, employee number, and the address, and the telephone number. Ano? Ayan. Then, a stage, one or more stage can pass through one or more towns. Ano? Ayan. So, di ba sa stage, maaaring madaanan ng isang bus ay higit sa isa pang isa o higit pang mga towns. Ano? Ito ata ay para dito. Naligaw din siya. Tapos meron isang guhit pa. Kulang to ng isang guhit. Nagtatago siya. Saan napunta yun? Yun. Ano? Then, a town, sige, balik rin natin. Pumunta tayo dito sa bus. Okay, sige. One or more bus can be kept or can be garaged in only one garage. Diba? So, yung isa o higit pang mga bus ay pwedeng igarahe sa isang garage. Diba? Hindi naman pwedeng nakagarahe yung isang bus sa dalawang garahe. Diba? Paano nangyari yun? Baka hinati yung bus. Pero walang ganun. Diba? So, yun. Ang isang garahe, pag binaliktad natin, a garage can keep more than one bus. Okay. Then, a garage, ibig sabihin, isa lang yun. A garage is situated in one or more than one town. Ano? Doon sa ruta. Kasi halimbawa, itong mga town na to, maaaring merong mga iba't ibang garahe. So, meron sa San Pablo, meron sa Chao, mga ganyan, sa Quezon, ganon. Ano? So, hindi lang isa yung garahe nila. Maaaring may garahe dyan somewhere may malapit sa Bendia, mayroon sa San Pablo, mga ganon. Ano? So, yun. So, ito yung nabuo natin na entity relationship diagram mula dun sa business rule na binasa natin kanina. Ano? So, yun yung process on how we are going to create our ERD. Medyo hindi lang maganda yung representation dito dahil hindi masyadong maganda yung pagkakagawa. Ano? But if we are going to create that you're using the table 1, yung naka-table, yung parang class diagram, naka-cross-put notation, mas okay yung itsura niya. Ano? Okay. So, meron pa tayong iba pang example dito. Isa pa example. And a staff manages a program and registers a client who has a request under a program. A staff has its own ID, number, last name, and an address. So, based on that business rules, we can determine three entity. Now we have the staff, a client, then the program. Ano? Yung staff, yung client, yung program. Sabi dito, a staff, ito yung kanyang mga attributes, own ID number, last name, and address. Okay? So, na-identify na natin yung entity. The next one should be the relationship. So, sabi dito, a staff registers one or more client. In yung relationship ng staff dun sa client. Register. Higit sa isa pang client. So, that is one to many. A client can be enrolled in the program. So, one client to program, client to program relationship. Client can enroll in the program. Then we have the staff manages the program. So that is one-to-many relationship. Then we have the attributes for the staff, and these are the following. Okay? Then we can develop the ERD. So we have here the staff, and ito yung kanyang mga attributes. So a staff can register one or more one or more than one client. A client can enroll under one or more under many programs. A client or one client can enroll, ito ay many to eh, many, more than one, to a more than one program. Ano? A program can be more than one program can be managed by a staff. A staff can or a staff manages more than one program. No? Yun yung relationships nila. Okay? And that's all for this document. Ano? So, as part of the activity, you are going to create an ER diagram, ano, na nakalagay dun sa ating worksheet, sa laboratory activity natin. Ano? But before that, meron pang isa pang uh, document dun which is about the transforming uh, the ERD into relations. So, kasi after mong makreate yung ERD na to, nakapag-create ka na ng ganyan, mag-create ka na mismo ng table. Ano? At ready nang i-create yung table sa database using the database management system. No? So, i-continue ko na yung discussion hanggang dun sa topic na yun. Ano? Okay? So, transforming ERD to relations. And the relations that is being set in this part is what we call the tables. Ano? Ayan. So, let us see in this example, in this ER diagram. So, we have here three entities, and this diagram was designed or drawn using the closed-foot notation. Ano? Yan. So, sabi dito sa ating business rules, ayan, napakahaba. Customer with a customer number, customer first name, customer last name, customer phone number, and a customer address, places order with order number, order ID, and order details. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga yun na sinabi na yun, yun na yung attributes ng ating mga entity. Ano? At ito na yung nakikita natin. Ano? So, huwag na natin pakabasahin yan. Tingnan lang natin yung nandito sa mismong relationship. ARD. Ano? So, one customer can place zero or more order. Diba? So, dito, order is a weak entity. And an order can be placed or is placed, or more than one order is placed by only one customer. Then, we have the invoice, the entity. Siyempre, kapag umorder, meron kang invoice, di ba? An invoice, or one invoice, can have one or more than one order. Kasi sa isang invoice, maaaring maraming order doon. May order ka ng fries, meron kang burger, meron kang spaghetti. Example, ano? Then, one customer can have or can generate one or more invoice. No? Kasi, for example, umorder ka ng burger, ng spaghetti. Then, nakalimutan mo pala, kailangan mo pang umorder para sa kasama mo. Then, order ka ulit ng spaghetti, may coke, at merong fries. So, ibig sabihin, dalawang invoice na yon. Ano? So, kaya, a customer can have more than one invoice. And an invoice can have more than one order. At yung order can be placed or can be ordered by only one customer. Okay? So, dun pagpapaikot-ikot yung kanilang relationship. Ano? And to transform the ARD diagram or the entity relationship diagram to a relation, the following steps must be done. Okay? So, identified na natin yung mga entity. Ayan. Siyempre, ito yung nakikita natin para makapag-create tayo ng table or ng relation. So, ang gagawin, create one table for each entity. Where the name given to the relation is generally the same as the entity name. So, since nakikita natin itong isang buong entity na yan, meron tayong tatlong entity, automatic meron tayong tatlong table. Sabi dito, di ba? We are going to create one table for each entity. Each attribute of the entity type will become, yun yung attribute, di ba? Will become the fields or the columns in that particular table or the relation. So, ibig sabihin, sa customer table ay magkakaroon ng 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 na columns or fields. Sa order, merong 4. Sa invoice ay meron ding 4. Okay? For each entity that is only at the one end of one-to-many relationship and not at the many end of any relationship, create a primary key or you may use arbitrary unique identifier if no natural primary key is available. Okay? Medyo masalimuot yun. So, basta tatandaan natin na dapat kapag strong entity yung ating entity, nararapat na siya ay merong primary key. Ano ba example dito? Basahin natin ulit. For each entity that is only at the one end of one-to-many relationship. So, we have the one-to-many relationship. Ito, for example, itong dalawang to, customer and order. Nasa one end itong customer. Kasi one lang siya. Kasi ito yung many, yung order. And not at the many end of the relationship. Create a primary key or you may use an arbitrary unique identifier if no natural primary key is available. So, since na-identify na natin yung entity na customer sa table and then ang tawag dito, the attributes as the column, so isa-set natin yung isa doon as the primary key. So, in creating the table, we are going to set customer number as the primary key because the customer number will uniquely identify the records of the customer that can be saved on that particular table. Hindi naman pwede natin gamitin yung first name as the customer, as the primary key. Kasi baka maaaring merong magkakaparehong first name dyan. Maaaring may magkaparehong last name, di ba? Yan. At ito yung example nun. So, we have here the customer table, then open and close parenthesis, sa loob nun yung kanyang mga entity. Then, merong underline yung customer number kasi siya ay yung primary key. At ganun din po ang gagawin natin dun sa ating iba pang mga entities. So, we have sa order, ganito. Then, sa invoice, ito yun. Pero may process pa dito. For each entity that is only at the main end of one or many relationship, yun yung order. Yun yung order. Ito. Kasi, lagi siyang nasa many, di ba? Ito, 0 or more, 1 or more. Nasa many siya. Si order, yan yun. 0 or more lagi siya. Many ang end niya. Nasa many siya. Itong si invoice can be 1 or more. Kasi pag ang relationship niya sa order ay 1, pero pagdating sa customer ay many. So, ang pinag-uusapan dito sa part 3 na to ay yung order. Include the primary key of each parent entity. Those at the one end of the relationship. So, kaya kung papansin nyo dito, yung primary key na na-identify dito sa customer ay ginamit na foreign key dun sa order. Ayan, nakikita nyo dito. Ayan, foreign key siya dito, primary key siya dun. So, kaya kung papansin nyo dito, sa na-create natin na relation, sa order table, we have the order number as the primary key, then the customer number as the foreign key, and these are the other attributes. Then, the fourth procedure is that if an entity at the many end of one or more relationship has a natural primary key, for example, sa an order number or an invoice number, use that column as the primary key. Otherwise, concatenate the primary key of its parent with any other column or columns needed for the uniqueness to form the table's primary key. Ano? So, kung hindi tayo makakapaglagay ng natural primary key dito sa invoice table na to, pwede tayong mag-set ng primary key using the primary key of the parent table, maaring galing dito, at idadagdag natin siya dun sa isang attributes nung table na to. But this time, pwede tayong maglagay ng primary key para dito sa invoice, which is the invoice number. Yun yun. Para ma-identify uniquely yung mga records na nandun sa table na yun. Okay? So, atin yung invoice table na mayroong invoice number as the primary key. Then, we also have the order number, then the customer number, and the invoice amount as the attributes. So, following these guidelines, we end up with the following tables. So, ito siya. So, we have here the table customer. Ito, customer number, primary key. Ito yung mga fields niya. Then, sa table order, primary key here. Then, the foreign key here. And the attributes. We have here the table invoice. Bakit nawala yung underline nito? We have the primary key na dapat naka-underline. The order number, which is a foreign key from the order table. Customer number from the customer table, and the amount. Okay? So, yun na po yung process na. For the next activity to be submitted in Google Classroom, transform the ER diagram that you make into a relation. Okay? So, that's it. And after this, you are going to do the classwork worksheet 3, entity relationship diagram. Ito. So, merong mga business rules na nakalagay dyan na itatransform nyo sa isang entity. Okay? Tapos, sa entity lang, sa entity relationship diagram lang. Then, after that, sa susunod, yung ERD naman na ginawa, kapag na-check na natin, na-discuss natin yung mga tamang sagot, ilalagay natin siya sa table or relation. Okay? So, I think that would be all for this discussion. And I hope maintindihan nyo yung mga pinagsasabi ko dito. With regards to the entity relationship diagram, kung paano mag-create ng ERD based from the business rules that was gathered or that was specified mula sa isang organization. Okay? So, once again, good morning and thank you.